Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. I am Elisa Meredith, and we are going to be doing a Pinterest ad setup together today. So let me bring up a brand new window over here and share my screen. If you are watching live, please let me know where you're watching from and what you're thinking about advertising. If you are watching the replay, welcome, welcome. I would love to know if this is useful for you, what else you'd like to see on the show, because I am here for you. All right, so let me share my screen. Okay. Share. It's this one. Okay. All right, good. You don't need to see my face while we're doing this. I want you to be able to see the screen really well. Okay, so what we're going to be doing today is setting up a consideration campaign that used to be called a traffic campaign, because basically you are paying for clicks to your site. Kind of. So let me explain just for a second what a consideration campaign really is. So yes, you're paying for clicks on your pin, but the thing is, with Pinterest ads, people are used to clicking on a pin and seeing a close-up, right? Or that pin expanded to the whole screen. With a Pinterest ad, something different happens. Either the page loads immediately on your mobile, or it opens a new tab on your desktop. So this is a little bit unexpected. It leads to a higher bounce rate. So when you're thinking about budget, you don't want to think, how much am I going to pay for a click? That's what I'll bid for a click. You're thinking more about maybe a third of that, a quarter of that amount, maybe even less. When they moved from that 2-tap to the 1-tap, they had us all kind of reduce our budgets by 70%. So that is a huge discrepancy. So that's not great, but consideration or traffic ad campaigns are still what I would start with as a new user, because you have a little more control over what's going on. You're going to see your results a little bit faster than some of the other types of ads. Now, we can show the other types of ads another day if you're interested, but for today, we're going to start with consideration. So again, we've gone to ads and hit create ad. We have our options here. We have brand awareness, which is basically paying for impressions, video views, basically impressions. Get conversions, that's a whole other kettle of fish we can talk about another time. So let's talk about consideration. We're going to do a test traffic campaign. And of course, you want it to be active if you're ready for it to run. If you just want to set it up and have it ready for maybe a launch date or something, you can hit paused here, and that way kind of delay your start. All right, now the way the ads are optimized now for distribution is kind of similar to the way that Facebook ads work, which is kind of nice. So you give your campaign a budget, and then Pinterest is going to spread that budget across ad groups in a way that is most efficient for you. We're just going to set up one campaign and one ad group today. You can have as many ad groups as you want in there. I like to set my campaigns up by targeting. You can do it however you want, but I just like to do it this way. So today we're going to do cold traffic, or new users to your site. New visitors, we'll call them new visitors. Okay. So what am I going to do for a budget? Everyone wants to know, how much do I have to spend per day? It kind of really depends on how fast you want to know if it's working or not. So I'm going to say it's at least $20 a day. We'll start with that for our little test. And again, you can turn them on, turn them off. The thing with Pinterest ads is they take a little bit of time to ramp up and to optimize. So if it's for just a very short time, I have not found success with that. Give it about twice as long as you give your Facebook ads to convert. It's just the way it is with Pinterest. The buyer journey is a bit longer because they're coming in with no knowledge of you, right? They're just they're brand new, which is great. Pinterest is great for awareness. All right, so our ad group we're going to give this a name. It's going to be by piece of content. So if we had the name of the content, we would just write that up there. And our strategy today is going to be to find new customers. So we're going to select that. You can do an act-alike audience, which is similar to Facebook lookalike audience, where it's people who behave like an audience you have. So if you have like an email list or a traffic or people who've been to a certain page on your site, you can do an act-alike on that. I could do that here. I'm not going to. I'm going to go purely with keywords and interests. I have had not great success with act-alike audiences, but you might try them. It's definitely worth a test. It seems to work better for some things than others. Keywords. Okay, so keywords works sort of like you'd think, although they do expand it a little bit, even if you don't tell them to. And there is that option here to expand the targeting, which means that if you did something like snacks or let's say you have a snack, like you have Chex Mix, let's say. If you just targeted something about kids or something, you might not think to target something like road trips. Well, Pinterest would, right? Because they know that snacks are good for road trips. So you can let them do that. You can let them enable the expanded targeting. You won't be able to see, though, what keywords are working there, which is kind of too bad. So I'm going to not enable expanded targeting. This is really great, too, if you're running an ad and it's not going well, you're not reaching a lot of people, you can then expand the targeting to get more, which can be, believe it or not, a challenge on Pinterest. Okay, so what I'm going to promote is going to be in the finance area. So I'm going to do banking and financial planning. Actually, I'm just going to do that one. Okay. And what I'm doing is targeting people who are interested in these sorts of things. I'm just going to go with finance. And then I'm going to go to design. Okay, logo and identity design. There's nothing that is specifically for marketing, which is a challenge, but you can get around that. Like, I'll show you how to get around that. So if you go to your audience insights, and then I'll let you see mine here. No big secret here. We're going to look at what my audience is super interested in. Okay. I'm actually going to compare my audience with the overall Pinterest audience. Mine is the blue. Pinterest overall is the purple. So this is why I was looking at finance. Okay, so my audience, they are really interested in financial planning and insurance and banking. Okay, that's really good to know. What else might we want to target? Because my audience likes it. Design, that's a good one. Business and advertising. Design, again, that's kind of the closest thing we have to marketing are these things here. And then art, because of my painting, digital art, art supplies. So this is where you can see like what interests should you be targeting with your ads because your audience likes it. So I can also switch to my engaged audience, which is even a better one. Finance still very heavy. Art is the strongest one. Of course, it's going to depend on what content you're promoting as well, but overall, this is going to give us a really good idea. Food and drinks, that's funny. Okay, so finance, again, let's have a look. Financial planning, insurance, banking. Okay, so we were on the right track with finance. And if you're in the business world, marketing world at all, you're likely going to find that is, that's a big one for you as well. Okay, so I'm going to pick those. Now I'm going to add some keywords as well. So let's do map your keywords to users. Okay, reach the right users with your exact phrase and broad match keywords. Negative keyword targeting will not be impacted. Okay, so this is new. There's always something new on Pinterest. But let's add some keywords. Okay, so I'm going to add, because I'm going to promote something that has to do with marketing. I'm going to do marketing tips, how to market yourself, how to market your business, marketing ideas. So I'm going to add a bunch of these things if I think they make sense. Marketing creative, sales and marketing. how to market. To market. Interesting. Some of these are a little strange. Like, it's hard to believe there are really 5 million searches for this phrase here. In fact, I don't believe it at all. But these are usually pretty good. All right. Getting social media. Let's try social media. A little bit more targeted here. Blogging, social media quotes, ideas. And so what we're doing here is we're trying to get people who are actually searching. And so that's how I'm going to map to users. If you do users with long-term interest, it's going to show to people in things like the home feed or related. Whereas if we do users with current searching and planning intent, that might be a little bit closer to where people are ready to act. So I'm gonna go with that one for now. It's interesting that you can't do both, but we'll see. We'll see how that works. Okay. Social media ideas. Okay, social media business bloggers. Okay, so we do want at least 25. Biggest challenge I have with keywords is not getting enough audience. So this is a really good audience size right here. We've combined our interests and our keywords, and so we can, yeah. Okay, so we're going to be about 10 million is about right. Now for genders, for me, I can tell by looking at my past campaigns how I should do this. So generally it's going to be female and unspecified because, unspecified could include female, all ages. So I pick the specific age ranges here. Tip from my Pinterest ad rep that over 55 tend to click a lot, but not actually act on it. So I'm going to go with these. All US locations, that's good. You can do many other countries and even target by postal code, which is really cool if you have a local business, but we don't need to do that here. Specific languages, I'm just going to click them all on. I think it's going to be, pretty much limited to English, of course. Now, if you are watching live and you have something you want to promote, we can use that as an example. But for now, we're just kind of running through how to set up a conversion or what used to be called a traffic campaign. All right, ad placement. Where do you want this ad to show? Ooh, goodness, it jumps all over the place. Okay, you can show in browse or search. I usually do all, again, because sometimes it's really hard to get your ad spend up. If we limit it, it brings our ad audience size down quite a bit for search. I'm just going to do all. I have done tests before and found that the search option does convert a lot better, which makes sense. People are actually looking for your thing. Let's talk bidding. Automatic is by default, of course, because they really want you to spend as much money as possible. But I have not really found that to work super well. Where it can work is if you need to ramp up your spend really fast, it definitely will do that and will spend your money, but it doesn't always work great. So I tend to do, I do a custom bid. So let's start at like $1.25. And again, you have to think about how much you want to bid, knowing that at least half the people who click really didn't mean to click, right? They thought they were just going to get a close up on your pin. So you might actually, if you think it's worth $1.25, you might want to bid 65. So it used to give you kind of an indication if you had a low bid or if it was a pretty good one. Now they're not telling you. So you just have to guess. Now the time has come to select a pin to promote. So you can kind of narrow it down by your boards. I'm going to narrow it down by this one, marketing content I've created. Okay, here's one to my most recent blog post. I'm going to promote that one. And I could add a UTM code if I wanted to, which is a good idea. You can add an ad name if you want to. I typically don't. I just go by the image. And you should have more than one piece of creative in here. So ultimately you want to have 3 or 4 to see what is going to work the best. But we're just going to do one. We're going to launch it. Oops. I guess I didn't finish the targeting. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Okay, we're going to launch. Okay, so it is here. Actually, no, it's not. Status should be active only. This dashboard is amazingly powerful, but it can be a little overwhelming. So I'm not going to see anything come through typically right away. The soonest you're going to see it is available here at this hourly view. It's a little bit delayed. It's kind of an estimation, but you'll at least be able to see if it's working. Now, if it's not running, you want to click through and look at your ad group and then click through to there to make sure that your pin has been approved. It can sometimes be rejected, and sometimes they'll give you a clue as to why. Sometimes they will not, but oftentimes it's something like, all right, you're sending them to a landing page that requires an email opt-in and you didn't tell them it was going to. You have to tell them it was going to. Or maybe they didn't like your image, or they say the quality of the landing page isn't good. If you disagree with them, you can always write into support and get some help with that. Now, you also sometimes see recommendations. A lot of time it's increase your bid by 50 cents to get twice as much traffic. Of course, right? Spend more money, you're going to get more. But do pay attention to these because they are sometimes kind of useful. It's kind of like having a little ad rep right in your channel. Speaking of which, you can get help for free from Pinterest. Now, obviously, how much support you get and for how long kind of depends on your budget, but they will help you to set up a campaign. And I do recommend you take advantage of that, but go into it knowing what you want to spend. So what is a click worth for you? There's a little formula that can help you figure that out. So if you think about, let's think about the product you have to sell. All right, you know it's going to make you $10, right? Figure out what is that worth to you to get people to it. So if you know that that landing page has a 10% conversion rate, and the profit that you make is $10, like how much is it worth to you? You have to figure that out for yourself. But another way to look at it is, what is the total cost, right? So if you know that when you sell this item, it sells for $10. If it has a 10% conversion rate on that landing page, you only want to pay $1 per click maximum. But then that's the total cost, right? That's not the cost of your product. So you got to figure out, what is that actually worth to you? And then your conversion rate divided by that to figure out what to actually spend. I have a calculator somewhere that does that. See if I can find it and post it. But you need to know that before you go into it, especially if you're going to talk to an ad rep, to have those numbers handy. Okay. I hope this was helpful. If you want to see a different kind of campaign, let me know. We can do that together, but this is the simplest one to set up. We could do a retargeting campaign. I find a lot better success with that on Pinterest than the cold targeting. And I think that is partially because those people are so new, right? Like a lot of times it's the first time they've ever seen your brand or your product, which is wonderful, but it's a lot longer to conversion, or it may not convert. So retargeting, say, your email list or visitors to a certain page on your website can be a really affordable way to run a Pinterest ad. Okay, thanks for coming by, and we will see you again soon.